Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
It is Coffee and time right here on WOON AM and FM on this Thursday morning. It's October the 23rd. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hi there, Joe Callahan with you. And around the coffee and table, there's attorney Bob Lauder. Hi, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Do people always, ever do that drinking game with the Bob Newhart? Every time they said hi, Bob, during the Newhart show, you had to take a drink. That was a college game. You must have heard of it, right?
No, I haven't.
No?
But, this is going to enliven new parties. Yes.
You have to go back and watch the Bob Newhart show when he was the psychologist, because everybody, they must have said hi, Bob, in the show like 10 times.
And each
character.
Every time you take a drink.
You're supposed to take a drink, yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, with the lawyer mind. Well, introduce the rest of the panel. I'll come back to my question.
All right. There's Sue Tester McKenzie from the Black Snow Valley Call-In-Times. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
And John Ward's here as well. Hi, John.
Hi, Joe.
Thanks for joining us. Now,
good morning, everyone.
Back to Bob.
Who pays for the drinks?
Well, you bring the drinks with you first.
Oh.
You're not at a bar. You're mostly at a house, watching around sitting on the couch.
I would think the host would be paying for the drinks.
No. You had to...
You bring your own?
Oh, of course.
OMG, Bob, don't get me started.
I was in college, okay?
In college?
Jeez. Yeah,
Everybody brought their own.
No one's serving you.
Oh, golly.
All right. Well, anyway...
it's not like they were shooting Jameson down their throat.
Well,
right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It was mostly just beer.
Yeah, right.
But you never heard that, the drinking game called Hi, Bob?
Nope.
No, now you know. So
Great.
There you go. And your Thanksgiving is coming up, so play it amongst your family and friends.
Right.
Well, I'm going to my brother-in-law's, so
there you go.
This is going to be great. I could drink his booze free, lots of it.
Well, there you go.
My wife will have to drive home.
My parents had a friend who would come over. And, of course, being generous, they would bring something with them because it was a
Gotta
group
be
coming.
nice. Yeah, okay.
And one of them would always bring a six-pack of beer and then drink Manhattans.
Whoa.
Here, enjoy this at a later time.
Right? Yeah, but nowadays with alcohol, with everything being
Black
expensive,
label
but with
usually.
alcohol,
Black label, usually.
yeah, people are showing up to parties with coolers of what they plan to drink. And it depends on what type of party. If you're an outdoor party, everything's so expensive. It's not the norm for the host to have everything.
Right. Okay, well, let's get away from alcohol.
On Joe some evening. Just surprise him and see if he...
See what he has for us.
Yeah.
I got one beer.
I can see the response right now would be, no problem, Joe, I got something in the car. I'll be right back.
All right, moving on to getting away from alcohol. Well, not really.
At 8 in the morning.
At 8 in the morning, yeah. I'm sure especially John, that no one's surprised that the two establishments in Woonsocket wanted to have 2 a.m. licenses instead of 1 a.m. licenses to close, Little Lena's and the Dollhouse. And they were both shot down by the city council by a vote of 6-1.
Okay.
Instead of closing at 1, they wanted to close at 2.
Right.
But John, were you surprised no one showed up at the city council meeting to speak in favor from the actual businesses of why they wanted to do this? I was.
I'm not that surprised because historically in Woonsocket, people applying for licenses and permits don't show up. I know when I worked in Lincoln at the town council meetings, if you were asking for a permit to do door-to-door solicitation, which you're required to do even in Woonsocket, if you didn't show up, they would deny it.
Okay.
You had to come make your case, or they would deny anything.
Everything. Okay.
In Woonsocket, it's never been the case. So I can understand. People assume, well, just apply and the council will deal with it. It's a mistake. I think the council should demand everybody applying for a permit show up.
Yeah.
And make the case for why they want it and why it's important to them. So I'm a little surprised in this case because it's unusual. And if they knew their history in Woonsocket, the last time when box seats moved and the next one came in for a 2 a.m. license, they were shot down because they were in a relatively residential area. And the only 2 a.m. license that lived after that was at the bowling alley, principally because it's in the middle of a commercial area where there's nobody to wake up in the middle of the night. and they had it for years, so it kept getting renewed until they stopped applying, and now it's gone. So if they knew that history, they would have known that the council generally is opposed to 2 a.m. licenses.
Sue or Bob, you surprised that no one showed up to speak in favor? Not like a customer, but more like one of the owners.
The owners. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think there is real justification in needing a 2 a.m. license. So maybe that's why they didn't show up. I mean, there was no case to make. It's just, I want to make more money after 1 o'clock. I don't know what to say. I don't think it's a necessary thing. And you know what? And they probably, knew it, but decided, hey,
we'll just
it's not going to hurt. Let's,
Yeah.
And, that's my opinion.
All right, Bob?
I'm surprised. Maybe when they filed the application for the permit, they weren't aware that there was going to be an opportunity to speak before the council. They may have just thought this was a closed
We
meeting
just
where the
fill out
council
the piece
just
of
went through
paper?
these things. But if they knew ahead of time that there's going to be an open hearing, they should have been there.
I think they would know. Well, they should know, because a permit or an application like that requires advertising and public hearing, which means that they have to pay for the ad that notifies people of the public hearing. So part of that application would have included a notice in the application that they're paying for the advertisement for the public hearing.
In that case, yes, I think they really should have showed up. They put
Others have on
money
other
into the advertisement.
Yeah, some people do show up, especially transfer of licenses, where the new owner is coming in saying,
This is what I'm gonna do.
taking over the business and I want to do this and this is what I want to do. And oftentimes the council members will ask questions of the person about what their plans are. And it helps make it more palatable to them and consider them positively for application.
Because when we had Dan Jenner was on Coffee and on Monday, just talking about the agenda, and I asked him that question, why are they asking for this 2 a.m. license? And on the application, you don't have to put down a reason. He goes, so I don't know. So he goes, I'm hoping someone comes and explains. Why do you want to go? Why do you want to go from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.? Are you getting a ton of requests from your customers? Gee, I really wish you stayed open another hour. Maybe they are, but no one showed up to talk about that. And now my cynical side, my good conspiracy theory, and I'm thinking mostly of the dollhouse. They had 4 things on their application, and so it was change their name, similar to what they already have. They wanted more parking, something to do with their back deck.
They want to use the back deck.
Yeah, and
service business.
change the hours. I'm thinking, gee, if we just sneak in this hour thing, no one will notice when they're looking at the other things going on.
And
that's just me being cynical.
That was a mistake, because part of the reason now they don't have a technical name change.
Yeah, the whole thing had to be shut down.
Because the 2 a.m. thing got shot down, and they applied in one application instead of doing separate applications for the separate items, so that they could have been considered individually.
So now I'm sure they're gonna come back and say, all right, now
I'm sure they will, but if they're smart, they better not connect the name with using the back deck.
Yeah.
Because the back deck is back to back with the housing that's on the second story on Front Street.
So it may be shut down.
And so they will probably get shot down on the outdoor service. And if they combine it with a name change, they'll have to go back to another meeting to do it again. So I would suggest they separate everything into separate applications.
And each time it's costing them money because it's got to be advertised.
Every
again, right?
application costs you money.
Yeah, this is gonna add up after a while, right?
I'm sure they can take it out of the garters tips.
No, those belong to them.
Whoa.
Actually, I think they do take a cut. Isn't that?
I have a
I
question.
have no idea, man.
Do you know they're not employees over there?
They're
Independent contractors?
They're independent contractors, and they take a cut of whatever they can make.
Yeah,
Well, if they're independent contractors, I know for me with my drivers, they were independent. They were 99.
Okay.
You couldn't make them do certain things, whatever.
Right.
Of course, I still did. In the sense of, no, you want to work for me,
Yeah.
as a subcontractor, you will wear your uniform, you will wear a hat, you will. Those
These
are
will be the
things.
hours,
But
okay.
you couldn't force them to work.
I see.
Like, oh no, I need you Friday night. You have to work. You couldn't do
You
that.
couldn't do that. All right.
Right. So, but I didn't take a cut of anything because
They kept to keep their tips.
Are you kidding me? If there was a delay at the airport, I would charge a minimal amount of $10 an hour, and that went right to the driver. He got paid for the trip, plus the $10 an hour while waiting for the flight, and I got nothing from that. It's just this is a kind of a courtesy to the customer that will still be here for you, and only $10 to wait is nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're faced with a hurricane that you may or may not be coming in, type of thing.
But if they're
Go ahead.
independent contractors, they're the ones who are solely responsible for paying into the Social Security system.
Absolutely.
And that takes 14% of their income towards Social Security, as opposed to the 7 point something percent it would be if they were employed and the employer had to kick in half of it.
But they also get gratuities that were not counted as a chauffeur. At the time, you did not have to, like a waitress, you have to always report, what is it?
Your tips
It was
and-
10%. I don't know how much that's changed, but they didn't have to report anything. So that was, catch-22 for them.
And it was my assumption that the ladies over at the Dolls don't get an hourly wage at all. It's all tips. It's whatever they can make. And then for whatever reason, the house gets a cut. So that's why it's busier on a Friday night and Saturday night, which just makes sense. So working Tuesday afternoon doesn't make you too much money.
I have
anyway,
no idea, man.
Okay, so now we've covered alcohol and
years.
stripping.
Yes, right, and a
All
little,
right, what's
on the
next?
chauffeur driving. So this child decides to bring a bullet to the school in Smithfield, just because. Now, no charges are going to be filed, which I'm a little surprised at. But no charges are being filed. The student brought a live bullet to Pleasant View Elementary School on Tuesday, which is in Smithfield. No gun, just brought the bullet from home. Why? We don't know.
How old is this little guy?
Well, it's elementary school, so we're talking anywhere from like 11, maybe 12,
Downward.
down to 5. They don't say what grade the student is in. So, but especially in elementary school, other kids will tell on you, and you may be showing somebody, hey, look at what I got right over here, but someone else might see it, which is what kind of sort of happened.
Yeah.
And someone tells a teacher, so little Johnny over there's got a bullet. Well, now the teacher's got to tell the principal's got to call the cops, and they do the whole investigation. They did a whole sweep of the school with the K-9 unit just to check, because just to check and see if there's anything else. There was nothing else found, so they did it as a precaution.
Well, you think bullets are pretty tame things, but if you strike it, if you took a
Just
nail
right,
head
yeah.
and you put it on the primer at the cap end of the bullet, it can explode.
It goes off.
Yeah. And
But does the kid know that?
no, I don't know.
Probably
but it's
not.
Still,
But it is dangerous because
Yes.
it was considered live. I mean,
Right.
the gunpowder, and I don't know if it's gunpowder, whatever's in the bullet was still in the bullet. So
Mm-hmm.
they had to quickly get it out of there. And I think the Smithfield police still have it. So, but it just makes you wonder what is going on in the schools and why are you bringing live ammunition to school? And then it's always on back to the parents. Well, where are you keeping your ammunition, and how come the little boy or girl, I'm not even sure, how come they have access to it? Parents.
yeah.
And it's like, oops. I thought
I think
we had it
parents
locked
are
up.
far more liable in this particular situation than the kid is. You're dealing with somebody who's probably, I would speculate, bringing it to school to, hey, see what I got. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to bring these in. Trying to show off how great
cool
the kid is.
I am.
Yeah, how cool the kid is.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
at the same
found out
time,
how cool he
but
is.
Yeah, let's go talk to the police officers. Now, how cool are you?
no, she's making fun of old phrases that I use. Come on, Sue. Jeez.
You can still use cool, Bob. That's
Okay,
fine. That's
thank
fine.
you. Thank you.
You want to use hip? Hips. You can use hip if you want.
I'm trying to think of
I don't
some
think the kids use hip
obscure,
anymore.
obscure phrase from the past that
All right.
nobody else will know about, but
Well, keep thinking
just
about
keeps
that.
out of my
okay.
mind.
Something Maynard G. Krebs would have said.
Yes.
Oh wow. What did he used to say? Can't remember. Anyway, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
OM 1240.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit
The
T-Mobile.com.
Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON AM and FM.
Coffee and here on ON. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning. Joe Callahan here with Bob Latter, Sue Tessier McKenzie, John Warden. Sue, time for first message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times newspaper.
Good morning. So we're looking forward to having the Community Choice winners announced in our Saturday paper. It's going to be a pull-out section, but the winners will also be online. And that section, I believe, is going to be online for a year at this point. But if you have any other questions with regard to advertising or a newspaper or delivery, you can give me a call on my cell phone at 401-487-4136. If you're looking for some holiday information, even just to peruse the information ahead of time so you're not waiting till the last minute to do any kind of marketing, you can call my cell phone. Again, it's 401-487-4136.
All right, quick question for Sue. I don't know if you have the answer to this. And everybody knows, well, we keep telling that you've moved. You're not where you used to be. You're down the hall. But the words, the call, are still on the building.
We can't touch it.
You can't touch the sign?
No.
Is that part of the whole history of the building?
Yeah,
thing?
there's a whole history thing. So those logos that are next to that.
Yeah, it looks like Mickey Mouse.
Call. Yeah. All of that we can't touch.
You can't
and
touch it.
Oftentimes, you'll see a business that closes and has been around for many, many years, as the call has. They can't change it, but you'll see, a little store that changed, signs down the same day they close.
Yeah.
It's got to do with the historical aspect of it.
Okay. I was just wondering that because I looked at it yesterday. I said, I know it's got to be confusing people that see it, and you're not there anymore. But I wonder if that sign can come down. But obviously,
yeah, because it's not
cannot.
technically a sign. It is
Part of the building.
part of the building. That's what makes it a problem. It's part of the building.
All right. Bob, look into that, really.
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right. Is this a stunt or is this a good thing? We'll go to John last on this. But all the members of the Rhode Island congressional delegation, the four of them, they're all Democrats, they're declining their paychecks. So we got Jack Reed and Sheldon Whitehouse and Gabe Amo and Seth Magaziner. They're doing it because they want to show solidarity with the federal workers who are not being paid. All right. Just a stunt, or is this a good thing, Bob?
Well, contrasting that against the president saying that he was thinking of suing the Department of Justice for $230 million because he thought that they had castigated him in the investigations in the past, and the now $300 million ballroom that's being added to the White House.
That's out of his own pocket, though, Bob.
Yeah, that's private donations. Well, not his pocket, but
Well, not
several,
his pocket, yeah.
several billionaires'
Not
pockets.
your pocket. So.
Just the same.
Okay.
I'm glad they're doing it because I do think it's a position of solidarity. I'm sure it's not going to hurt any of them because they probably have enough significant assets to put food on the table for the next month or so out of their own pocket, whereas some of the federal employees may be much shorter staffed. But
Okay. Sue?
Oh, 100% agree with that. Again, I you used the term stunt. Maybe it's a stunt that's going to do good.
Oh, maybe it is.
It's all I think it's important because the federal workers, as Bob pointed out, some of them were already paycheck to paycheck, and now what do you do?
Okay.
So,
John, thoughts?
Political theater.
So
Okay. No, it's just it's image building on their part. I understand.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
They're showing that they're willing to sacrifice in the same way that the employees have to. The question is, will they also get all of their money back retroactively once this
is over,
shutdown is settled, as the employees all will? That's the question. And by the way, on the ballroom. Yes, Jackie Kennedy intended to create a new ballroom as part of her White House restoration project, but the plan was never realized because of President Kennedy's assassination. The restoration focused on historical preservation and upgrading the interior with antique furniture with televised tour highlighted her work, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't Trump. I mean, Trump expanded it to size because clearly a ballroom that only holds a couple hundred people, when you're dealing with international groups coming in and crowds of much bigger than that and having to set up tents on the lawn every time, there's a certain value to it. And of course, he's not the first one to tear down sections of the White House and build
who put the
new
bowling
ones.
alley in?
And it's not the White House. It's actually the amendments that were added later. This is on the East Wing, which is where the First Lady's offices are, as opposed to the West Wing, where the presidential offices are, which are all just add-ons that are being modified
Okay.
using private money.
Who did put the bowling alley in?
The bowling alley was put in by Truman, actually.
Truman. Okay. Wow.
And then Nixon put it back because somebody had replaced it, I think, with a Kennedy, I think, put a pool in.
I thought that was LBJ that put the pool in.
I thought Roosevelt had the pool put in. FDR.
He may have, but Truman put in a bowling alley.
Okay.
And then Nixon put the bowling alley
Right,
back.
I remember that.
And
And
then
took the pool out?
Obama put in a basketball court.
I remember that. Him doing that. Okay. Wow. Well, it happens. They make their mark somehow. All right.
But is it rude to say that the present president has instead put in a McDonald's?
That would be Bill
Drive-through.
Clinton.
Only
right?
drive-through, though,
Only a drive-through.
because of security concerns.
All right. You know what the good news is?
What?
Rhode Island welcomed a record 29.4 million visitors in 2024, up 3.5% from the previous year. We had more tourists in the state.
Fantastic.
And they spent a total of $6 billion, which represents an increase of 7% and accounted for $992 million in state and local tax revenue.
Do they give
Nice.
any idea as to why we had the increase? Were there increases in other states as well, and people are coming back from COVID and traveling more, or?
No, I don't have that information.
Oh.
Secretary of Commerce Stephen Pryor says tourism supports local businesses, creates new jobs, helps attract investments to communities, and Rhode Island is proud to welcome visitors from around the country and around the world. So he was just happy that there was an uptick in visitors and more money coming into the state.
Great.
So I don't know how they do these. I don't know how they count these people, but
The only thing I would wonder about that is whether or not any part of that, and I think it's great that it happened.
Yeah.
But whether any part of that is the attraction of an improved airport that has people more flying into Rhode Island and not Logan. And if that's the case, are everybody that flies in and maybe goes to do business up in Massachusetts or visit someplace in Massachusetts but fly into Rhode Island count as Rhode Island visitors?
well, as long as they're stopping in, and spending a little cash
You know,
at a
that's what I mean.
McDonald's,
They land at the airport and they
at a
buy
restaurant
themselves,
in Rhode
they buy
Island.
themselves a cheeseburger on
Yeah.
the way up to Cape Cod or to the North Shore or the South Shore. Do they count as Rhode Island visitors, or does it actually have to be at some destination in Rhode Island?
I don't know. I don't have all
I'm
the
sure
details.
they don't know either.
All right. Do you think it's going to get ugly if the SNAP benefits get shut off on November 1st?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. That's where it looks like things are going.
I've been looking at that as a deadline. The only thing I think that Schumer's going to back down on, and the president's going to back down on, and Johnson's going to back down on, and I think that's what the minority leader and Mike Johnson talked about last weekend, is putting in the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act premiums that basically would cause those premiums to double come January 1st. And they need to cross the line of opening the government again to get SNAP benefits back up and running, because it's huge across the country, especially among the elderly and the poor in the urban communities, but also the poor in the suburban communities. Farmers, I hate to say it, but a lot of farmers may be very dependent on things like SNAP benefits too, because their income is so irregular and seasonal. I'm not sure that it's not affecting so many people that, frankly, I think that's a tripwire that may trigger a settlement. And it'll probably settle with the subsidies being put back in with very rigid limitations over what can go to hospitals serving illegal immigrants or doctors serving illegal immigrants. And though they're mandated to do it and the states want to pay out of Medicaid, they will not reimburse the state funds for the Medicaid cost of paying the hospitals. So there'll be some kind of settlement, I suspect, coming soon. Just my humble opinion.
Okay. Bob, do you think something will happen? Probably not this week, because November 1st is not until a week from Saturday. So
I
probably
think
get
John's
something next
analysis of what is likely to take place is probably pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not pleased with some of the positions that the present government is taking, especially with regard to providing care for people who are illegal immigrants. I think that we have an obligation to take care of anybody who is in the country, and I think that it is probably almost a violation of a whole lot of religious ethics for some of us to say we're not going to take care of somebody who is sick and in need. But that's
All right.
the far left.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to judge
Right.
what's being done.
No.
I was trying to
No,
simply point out what I think would happen.
Okay.
I think
And frankly, it is a problem. And I think the pushback in this populist movement is the pushback against Biden simply inviting the world to come through our southern border unencumbered and be allowed to be dispersed around the country by bus and by plane and just infiltrate our cities and cost us billions and billions of dollars in support that states have been spending using federal funds to provide for them. And I think there's as I said, a populist backlash of conservatism that's probably more extreme than it should be, but I guess emotionally it can be validated against people thinking that we were allowed to be invaded over the course of the last presidential term.
All right, let's take a break here in the Coffee AM program. And Sue, time for a second message, once again, from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times newspaper.
I got nothing.
I got
I'm only-
nothing.
I just had to say that because Bob's always saying how good I am on the spot.
You are.
Again, I'm repeating myself because it is that time of year. Holidays are coming. We are also getting ready to do our food basket program. So if anybody would like to participate in that or would like information on that, you can call my cell phone at 401-487-4136. And if you're looking for holiday information, holiday advertising information, we can create a package to fit your budget, whether it's print, digital, online, whatever you're looking to do. So you can call my cell phone at 401-487-4136.
All right, Sue, thanks. It's time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Partly sunny skies today with a high near 60 degrees and southwest breeze up to 25 miles per hour. There's a 20% chance of an isolated afternoon shower. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 40. Friday's weather mostly sunny and 59. Saturday, sunshine and 56. Sunday, partly sunny and 53. Monday, partly sunny and 51. Tuesday, 30% chance of a shower, mostly cloudy skies, high near 52. And next Wednesday, 30% chance of a shower, mostly cloudy and a high near 52 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street under mostly sunny skies, we get a temperature reading of 42 degrees. Imagine a child in extreme poverty waiting over a year to be sponsored. End their wait today. Become a Compassion sponsor. Text radio to 83393.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up gołąbki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Providing you with the best insurance coverage while saving you money. That's their goal at the Eston and Richard Insurance Agency, because everyone's needs are different. Their friendly insurance agents and staff can prepare a no-cost, no-obligation review of your current insurance coverage and make recommendations. What's even more important is that because they're local, they'll be there when you need them. For more information, visit their website, estonandrichard.com, to learn about their agency's products and services. Eston and Richard, 342 Park Avenue, Woonsocket, 766-4200.
ON Worldwide.
All right, it's Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with John Ward, Sue Tessier, McKenzie, and Bob Lauder. And Bob, time for a first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to return this morning to some recent cases decided by the Rhode Island State Supreme Court. One of them is known as Knudsen versus Dijon, and involves the issue of scenic views granted to a landowner across the real estate of another owner. The foundation of the dispute was 13 separate parcels of land, originally owned by a single owner. Over the years, the ownership of the parcels had devolved to a number of different owners, and in 1989, one of the owners had negotiated an agreement with several of the other owners, which restricted the construction of structures or the growth of vegetation which interfered with the view of the Sakonnet River that was enjoyed by some of the parties to the agreement. The agreement provided that in the event that any of the signatories to the agreement acquired one of the remaining 13 parcels, the agreement would apply to those parcels as well, and identified the parcels for which the restrictions were to be provided as a benefit. The agreement failed to include as a beneficiary of the restrictions one of the parcels owned by the plaintiff. Over the years, the defendant had acquired a parcel owned by one of the original signatories to the agreement and allowed vegetation to grow to a height which interfered with the view offered to the plaintiff. The plaintiff sued the defendant to compel the removal of the vegetation. The defendant defended against the claim of the plaintiff and contended that since the agreement negotiated by the plaintiff failed to identify the plaintiff's specific parcel as an original 13 parcel beneficiary, to construe the agreement against the drafter of the agreement. The Supreme Court found in favor of the plaintiff, ruling that while the general rule concerning restrictive covenants is that they are to be construed strictly so as to favor an unrestricted use of property, and are not to be extended by implication, and if there is an ambiguity, it is to be resolved in the favor of the unrestricted use, the rule of strict construction will not be used to destroy the very purpose for which the restriction was established, and proper regard must be had for the intent of the parties. Basically, it meant that the plaintiff won. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Well,
I got to tell you,
yes,
my reading has not improved, but
you were better than last week.
That is a fascinating case that you just read there, because if you're the person who is suing to defend your right to not be bound by an agreement, I would think you paid an attorney who relied on the fact of strict construction of every other condition that was placed on every other person in past judgments, I would think. So there's a certain, I hear a sense of some precedent that was changed or it was set aside by the Supreme Court.
You are correct.
Which means, how is an attorney supposed to go in to try to defend the case knowing that there's precedent otherwise, and then have the court sort of screw them because they said, yeah, but it doesn't count here.
That happens in lots of cases. Yes.
What kind of system do we have in this country?
I know you don't.
Things change.
All
Things
right.
are not.
Now, Bob, we know we don't practice law in Massachusetts,
Right.
But I don't know if you have heard about this, but the number of state criminal cases in Massachusetts dismissed because of a lack of public defenders has now surpassed 1,500.
Wow.
The state has been forced to drop charges in the cases because of a work stoppage by the bar advocates, who say they are grossly underpaid for their work.
So they haven't gotten a raise yet, huh?
No,
I know that's been going on for a while.
I thought they were getting something, but last I heard they weren't
get
happy
paid,
with it. Yeah, but not what they want.
Not enough.
More than 150 cases were dismissed by the Boston District Court just this week because of the bar advocates shortage. Cases thrown out include sexual assaults, gun charges, assaults, and more. Wow.
Wow is right. I'm surprised in one regard, and that is it takes a long time for some serious cases like gun charges in Rhode Island to actually arrive at the trial level. You get arrested, you appear in district court, you have the arraignment, then you're sent, it's bound over to Superior Court, you have another arraignment. That's all pretty rapid, but then from then on to get to the trial point, it can take a number of years. And I'm surprised that they're dismissing them outright without looking at the severity of the charges against the defendant.
Well, it could be that some of those years have already gone by.
I would think so, but
because when I look at cases that I'm aware of, not only though does it get bogged down once it gets into the Superior Court, but oftentimes the names of the attorneys change, the names of the judge change because I guess they cycle through different periods where they cover that particular court. So one judge goes, another judge comes in, then they have conferences, they'll have delays, they have discovery, they have all kinds of reasons why it just goes on for. I mean, the case we brought in Lincoln against somebody for stealing money is still not settled, and that was 5 years ago.
Wow.
John's right. That's the way it really acts down there.
Okay. Well, I know the state talked about okay, we're going to dismiss these cases, but as soon as the stoppage thing is over, they want to reinstate all the charges. I wonder if they've changed their mind on doing that.
It depends on how they dismiss them. If they just dismiss them, then they can be brought back. If they dismiss them with prejudice, it's over and done with.
Is it? It doesn't say. It just dismissed. Okay. That's all I got here. So, but it's up to over 1,500. So if you want to go, take the bar in Massachusetts, there, Bob, and
there's lots of work for you at a very low price.
They're looking for people.
I'm glad to know that there's still a possibility of honest lawyers getting employed, but.
No,
I am not one of the people who is looking for that, and I'm not going to say whether or not I'm honest.
All right. I know you've been waiting for this, Bob. Professional women's baseball is coming to Boston.
Oh, good.
We've already got professional women's hockey. There's
Baseball.
professional basketball, not in Boston, although I think a team is coming. They want to move the Connecticut Sun up there.
I was just going to say the Connecticut.
But now it's baseball. The Women's Pro Baseball League has announced that its first four teams will be in Boston, New York, L.A., and San Francisco. The league says the cities were selected because of their fan support, market size, media presence, and rich baseball history. The league is expected to begin play next year, with all games in 2026 played at a neutral venue, which is great. Now there's a team in Boston. Are we all playing in Chicago because everybody's got to fly in? Tough to build a fan base.
Obviously, they're not going to be using a professional men's baseball field because you're not going to be hitting, I doubt, they'll be expecting women to hit them 450 feet over the fence.
Well, they'll probably be used, like Fenway Park's going to be used, but you could always use a college field.
Or something
And
with a
the
shorter
same
fence, maybe.
They don't have the shorter fences. Some have 400 feet to hit a home run at some of the college fields.
But I'm saying, is that the distance that's expected to be able to be hit?
Well, you want to play baseball, that's
playing baseball.
Well, why not?
Nothing personal, but
Bob's got a question.
How long before the men infiltrate?
Three things. I'm glad it's coming.
Okay.
It's only expanding my level of ignorance because now we have another team that I don't know anything about. But why are they playing only in neutral areas? I would think that if you have a women's team in Boston, you'd want to have them play in Boston, as John said, to try and get local team loyalty.
Yeah, I don't know. Just at a neutral venue, and maybe it's just to build up, and we get more teams, and then we can start playing in our home fields. I don't know. And I always remember my days of working at the Worcester Red Sox and the Pawtucket Red Sox, they would bring in the women that played in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League back in the 50s, the ones that have still survived.
Yeah.
And
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball, that's right. And one of them was asked one time, do you think women should be playing against the men in baseball? And she was like, absolutely not. We can't go up against these guys. Aaron Judge is 7'5". He goes, we're 5'3". He's got incredible strength, but we should have our own league. They thought a couple of years ago we would love to see a women's professional baseball league start up again, and now it is. So,
And then
good for them.
there's the Savannah Bananas and what they're doing.
No women on those
No.
teams,
But I'm saying it's an alternative.
That's an alternative to
baseball
that
concept.
You'd probably like that, Bob.
That's very enjoyable and entertaining.
Got to educate me on this one. What are you talking about?
All right.
I discovered it when my grandchildren demanded that we watch a Savannah Bananas game.
And now they're going to want to go to one.
Of course.
It's like they're like the Harlem Globetrotters.
I'm gonna get a photo.
Show a picture.
to show them.
They're good athletes, but they clown a lot.
Yes. They're college baseball players.
College
they're
or
minor league baseball
retired.
players that couldn't quite make it to the pros, but they still know how to play the game.
They actually have some retired ball players.
Do they?
that
Okay.
play some Major League
And they
players.
they clown around and they jump and do silly skits and
And the yellow uniforms.
that's why they're called the Bananas. And they started in Savannah, Georgia.
Sue is doing her
Showing-
research and filling me.
And on
Oh,
this team.
jeez.
And they usually play a team that wears pink. They're the party animals.
This picture's pretty funny because they're doing like the Rockettes.
Yeah.
So they could have been in New York. So they decided to
But it got so popular so quickly,
Right.
that this past season they had two games at Fenway Park sold out. And it got so popular.
It's amazing.
Next summer they're going to play at Gillette Stadium. You can configure a football field
Right,
into a baseball
yeah.
field, and they'll probably sell it out for 60,000 fans to come see it.
Great.
And
It's amazing.
The good thing about
Different
about
rules, too.
There are different rules. The
And
game will
it's-
only last 2 hours. I'm not quite sure how they figured that out.
It's timed
but-
like a soccer game. It's 2 hours,
and it's just done.
and then it ends.
Okay.
And so they do have different rules. My favorite rule is if the ball is hit into foul territory and it's caught by a fan, you're out.
You're out.
I love that rule. I love that rule. You go sit down. I said, that's perfect. So what you saw like the Rockettes is probably something an out was made in the field.
Oh, there's a dance.
So they all come together and start dancing like the Rockettes because they're all excited that we've made it out, and the fans love it. So those are the Savannah Bananas.
It is like a Harlem Globetrotters
yeah.
for baseball.
They don't
Really is.
they don't
And
throw confetti on each other.
except they might lose.
That's right. Who
an actual
wins?
competition.
It's an actual game.
Right.
So the Bananas may lose. You still got to hit the ball and run and stuff like that. But okay. But I want to let you know, women's professional baseball is coming. So
Great.
Keep an eye out on that. Back to we talked about liquor at the beginning. The Boston Beer Company, they make Sam Adams.
Yep.
Is releasing an extreme version of its Sam Adams beer. The 2025 version of Sam Adams Utopias has 30% alcohol by volume.
Now, one of the beers is illegal to sell in 15 states. Is that the one?
This is the one.
Ah,
It's only available in 35 states because
Yeah.
15 states have laws banning beer with such the high alcohol content. Doesn't say which states are which. The special beer is presented in a unique bottle with a suggested retail price of $240.
holy
A
cow.
bottle?
For beer?
It must be. I hope it's a lot of beer. The beer is designed to be served at room temperature. Room temperature?
Oh, hell no.
No. What is this? England? No.
I just got beeped.
So anyway,
It sounds more like it's designed to be used for your kerosene lantern.
Right?
set it on
Just
fire.
put a wick in it. Open it
Yeah.
up. Put the wick in it.
put a
And
wick
you're
in
good
and
to
light it
go.
up.
I don't know about the Utopia. I've never heard of this one, but they do come out with your seasonal beers.
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest,
and-
Winterfest is another one.
And what
kinda
season
thing.
is that?
Well,
Oktoberfest should be now.
No, the
Oh,
one
this
with
one
the
it
30%
doesn't. It doesn't
alcohol.
say. It just says the 2025 version, and we're almost out of
That
2025.
must be Funeral Fest.
It should be coming. It should be coming out soon. But wow, 30% alcohol.
Yeah.
That's a tough
Wow.
beer.
I was watching that. I heard that on the news, but I didn't get which beer it was. I was like, illegal in 15
Sounds like
Illegal in 15
sounds
states.
like some of the unmarketed Portuguese liquors that I've tasted in my lifetime. That you take little sips
You
of.
take a
and
sip.
You've had enough.
Don't take a drink. You take a sip. All right, Bob. Time for a second message now. We'll take another break. And time for a second message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. The second recent case decided by the Supreme Court, which I'd like to discuss with you this morning, involves the interpretation of a property settlement agreement in divorce litigation and the entitlement of one party to the federal survivor benefits provided to the other party as a result of federal employment. The case is known as Rayobo versus Rayobo. Mr. and Mrs. Rayobo were married in Virginia in 1990 and lived there until 2002, when the plaintiff moved to Rhode Island, and by 2010 their marital relationship had for all practical purposes ended. In 2017, the parties filed claims and counterclaims for divorce. The husband had worked in the United States military and thereafter worked as a federal employee, and was thus entitled to the receipt of 2 federal pensions. During the divorce litigation, the parties entered into a property settlement agreement, which provided to the wife entitlement to a 50% of her husband's retirement income, but which failed to make any reference to the survivorship benefits afforded by the husband's civil federal employment, which benefits would be paid upon the death of the husband. And following the entry of the final decree, the husband remarried. Thereafter, the former wife learned of the survivorship benefits and brought litigation to secure entitlement to those benefits as well. The husband rejected her claim. The Supreme Court ruled that because the agreement is ambiguous regarding whether the plaintiff is entitled to a share of any survivor benefits of the defendant's federal civilian pension, we must adopt the construction of the agreement as most equitable to the parties in the case. Notwithstanding the claim of the plaintiff, this agreement was A, negotiated over a period of 8 months, B, the parties had been separated for 15 years, C, the defendant's entire federal pensions had been earned during the period of separation, D, the parties and even their lawyers knew this information when drafting the agreement, and even if the plaintiff's agreement that the provision of the document is ambiguous, it should be construed against the defendant, the parties presented the agreement as a joint exhibit in the divorce. The court was satisfied that denial of the claim of the plaintiff to entitlement of the survivor's benefits of the federal civil pension of the defendant was the most equitable resolution of the controversy. If you think my office may be assistance to you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And the Coffee AM program will continue right here on ON AM and FM.
ON 1240. Let's check the entertainment at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining on Main Street in Woonsocket. Tomorrow night, Friday, October 24th from 8 to 10, it's Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones. That's right. At 25 in advance, 30 at the door, traditional Chicago-style blues on stage at Chan's. And then Saturday night, look forward to the Peach Eaters. It's the ultimate Allman Brothers tribute band, 5 gentlemen who will really make you happy, between 8 and 10 Saturday night at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket, and oh boy, they got great food too.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
ON Worldwide.
Okay, Coffee and right here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Bob Latter, Sue Tessier McKenzie, and John Ward. And we've all heard, when it's your time, and when it isn't, it isn't, right? Right? Have you ever heard that?
We're hoping, none of us hoping to hear it's our time right now.
Well, not right now, but these people, it just wasn't their time, okay?
Okay.
3 people are safe after being rescued by the Coast Guard yesterday from an island that is off of Martha's Vineyard. So it's not Martha's Vineyard, but there's an island near it, okay?
Yeah.
Authorities said the family was stranded on Naushon Island, Naushon island, after their boat caught fire on Monday.
All right.
So they had to spend the night on this island.
Yes.
And then they sent out a mayday call yesterday morning when they reportedly found the boat's radio washed up on the beach, and it still worked. This is how it's not their time. Thanks, Gary. Naushon Island. Very good. But the radio still worked.
Great.
How
lucky
about
with that?
Yeah.
So this wasn't one of the boats that Hegseth decided to hit with a missile while it was sitting off the shore, was it?
I don't think so. That was off Venezuela.
Well, no, he's done that off the coast of California now, too.
Has he?
And they said something about being Venezuelan drug smugglers, and I was thinking, I don't think Venezuela has a western coast. So I don't know how they get through the Panama Canal.
They do.
Coming out of Colombia.
Okay. Anyway,
maybe.
This family, by the way, they were airlifted to Cape Cod Hospital on the Cape in Hyannis, and
they're lucky.
Aren't they lucky?
Yes.
I mean, first of all,
they lost to dogs, though.
Oh, well,
they're not
sorry. But they had to spend the night on this island. I mean, it's pretty chilly at night.
Well, yeah,
especially in the ocean.
There was a barn or a shed or a something that
on the island.
Yeah.
Oh, they were able to get
they were
shelter
in that shelter.
Okay.
And then it showed pictures of it on the news. So it looked just like
a shack or something.
Island with a barn. I mean,
talk about
crazy.
lucky. Wow.
Right.
Okay, well, lucky for them. Clark University up in Worcester is the recipient of the single largest gift in its history. The founder of Panera Bread has given the school $20 million.
Wow. Fantastic.
Wow.
For the implementation of strategic planning initiatives around, that was announced last spring. Ron Shaich, Shaich, went to the school. He is the class of 1976 and a university trustee since 1988. President of Clark University, David Fithian, said that the gift will enhance the student experience as well as support programs and the faculty.
That's generous.
So, $20 million? I guess Panera Bread's doing okay.
Yes.
In their,
now, you're not going to say they're making lots of dough, right?
Oh.
You knew that was coming.
From you, I do now, but yeah. All right, Bob, we had the story. It's been going on for a while about the firefighter from Ireland who's been accused of rape in Boston.
What? No, I haven't heard of this.
This took place 2 years ago, but his trial is taking place now.
All right.
He took the trial in his own defense. Took the stand, I should say.
Okay.
In his own defense to absolutely say, I did not do this.
All right.
But the jury has it now. His name is Terrence Crosby. He's accused of raping a woman during a visit to Boston, last year, during St. Patrick's Day. Crosby testified in his own defense, saying he did not rape or even touch the victim while he was visiting Boston for St. Patrick's Day last March. The alleged victim testified that she had consensual sex with Crosby's roommate after meeting him at a bar. But she also told the jury that she was raped by Crosby when he returned to the room and just found her sleeping in his bed.
All right.
So it's a he said, she said kind of thing. I don't know what other kind of evidence she has brought forward to show that this assault may have taken place, but he's pretty vehement that he's not that he didn't do this. So, but the jury has it now. So you may hear a verdict come down today, tomorrow, the next day. We'll have to see.
Well, under the circumstances of what you've described, I would think that it would be appropriate for him to take the stand if he believes he's innocent, because don't have some of the. You have a whole lot of nexuses there that would not necessarily be available in a single rape case. You have the person in the room, along with, or the room which the defendant should have been in, along with the defendant's roommate. So, it's not like the defendant is trying to prove there's no possibility of this taking place through circumstantial evidence. It's more like I have to testify that I didn't do it because the circumstantial evidence places the accuser into periphery of where I could have been.
But doesn't it open it up to the district attorney to come after and attack and attack
Of course.
and attack?
Yes.
If you're on the stand?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Does it make it look in the eyes of the jury? Does it make the defendant look more guilty if they don't take the stand and try to defend themselves?
Well, the judge will always instruct a jury that says the defendant does not have any obligation whatsoever to make any statement during a trial.
Okay.
So you can't take into consideration the fact that the defendant is sitting there and hasn't said a word.
Okay.
Right.
But we're dealing with human beings.
Yeah, right. I couldn't sit there and be quiet if I'm being accused of something I didn't do.
A juror should always take it from the perspective of it's the obligation of the state to prove a case, not the obligation of a defendant to disprove it.
Right.
And actually, it should work in your favor if you're a defendant who can get up there and adamantly show that
that you didn't do this.
I was not a participant here. And if you're willing to take what I think is always presumed a hostile witness, when the prosecutor gets the defendant on the stand, it's like no holds barred.
Right,
Accusations can fly, and all kinds of things can be said and challenged. So there's a high risk of testifying on your own behalf. So I would think a good juror would weigh that accordingly.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens in this case.
As they should.
As they should.
But I guess I'd be considered a hostile witness if I was seriously accused of. If I was accused of doing something, I would just be like, wait a minute. I would have to defend myself.
Well, the challenge, though, is if they could find anything in your history, and they would go looking, depending on the seriousness of the case, if they could find anything in your personal history that is inconsistent with the truth, then you're a liar.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
they would be trying to paint you as a liar.
But no, I would be the. You know, I used to, when I was growing up. Well, when I was younger, you'd watch these movies on TV. People trying to defend themselves, and whether it was a court or whatever, a person trying to defend themselves from others thinking that they're crazy. Do you know what that person looks like when they're trying to?
You look crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like when you're on the stage, I mean, it's all the same on the witness stand, but when you get down to that and you're trying to convince somebody that you are not crazy, you just look
crazy.
completely crazy.
All right, John, you got family down in Virginia. Bob, you went to school in Virginia. Does anyone know where Chantilly, Virginia is?
Oh yeah, it's right where my daughter-in-law teaches at Chantilly High School. It's right off of the Dulles Toll Road in Fairfax County.
Bob, you aware of this town?
I was familiar with the Shenandoah Valley, not up near Washington.
By the way, for all the claims that the high volume of students in Woonsocket High School at 1,200 is part of what causes all of this turmoil,
mayhem,
there are 3,300 kids in the Chantilly High School.
All right.
Wow.
7 assistant principals.
Wow. Wow. Unfortunately, sad story out of Chantilly, Virginia.
There are occasionally some.
An octogenarian is facing up to 15 years in prison for killing his wife.
That's a death sentence.
89-year-old Douglas Summer pleaded guilty Tuesday to manslaughter and a weapons charge, admitting he shot his 87-year-old spouse several times at close range as she was napping in a recliner back in February. The shooting came as the couple was getting help from their daughter. They were going to move into an assisted living facility, something that Summer vehemently opposed. I guess the wife was okay with it. But the man did not want to go. He'd rather go to prison, which I think is odd, but okay. He will be sentenced in January.
Probably.
I'm surprised that he was found competent to stand trial.
Yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, I guess he was.
About his state of mind. But maybe he figured the food is better there.
Maybe. I don't know. But he pled guilty to whatever the charges their DA brought, Bob. The manslaughter and the weapons charge. So
wow,
makes you wonder where he got the gun.
Yeah, but I'd be more curious as to what went on prior to. I mean,
leading up to this.
Yeah, not just you're going to a nursing home. Maybe the wife was incapacitated in some manner.
Maybe.
And he said, "Hey, we're going here because of you." Nope,
but
not happening.
I
don't know.
Chantilly's not immune from it because I remember when there was a University of Virginia one of the universities, where there was a mass killing, the guy with a gun and went around shooting people. And I learned later that it was actually a graduate of Chantilly High School.
Yeah, all right.
So, these things happen.
So they're not perfect.
I like John's cynical take, though, on the retirement years and the quality of lifestyle that we're going to enjoy.
All righty. Today's National Horror Movie Day, by the way, so get out and go watch your favorite horror movie if you like watching horror movies, which I do not. So
I watch the news instead.
Horror enough there, Bob? For
Same
you?
thing, isn't it?
Just about.
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Always appreciate it. Bob Lauder, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Hope to be with you next week.
All right, Sue Tester McKenzie, thanks for coming on in.
Have a good rest of the week.
All right, and John
Something
Ward.
we didn't discuss, but maybe someday you will discuss, is that 2 days ago, a book was released called Nobody's Girl, which is the woman who committed suicide that was a victim of Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew, and her book, tell-all book, that was co-wrote with an author, a book writer, released 2 days ago, and it apparently has the names.
Does it name names?
No, some of them, it does not name names, but the author who wrote the book has recording where every name is mentioned on the recordings. She's got them safely secreted away somewhere, and she said on various news stations that the FBI does have a list, the Department of Justice does have a list. It includes retired U.S. Senator, a governor, a foreign minister from another country, many, many people that are on the list. So anything coming out, but one thing it does do is that it says Trump was never present when bad things were happening in her presence
on the island,
related to, not necessarily on the island, but at the apartment in New York, actually, was most of it happened. And yeah, Trump was never involved, and but I just thought I'd throw that out there because it's called Nobody's Girl. If you like reading books and that kind of junk, then check it out.
But I want names.
And by the way, have a great day. It's going to be beautiful for the weekend.
Thanks, John. This is Joe Callahan. Enjoy the rest of the day. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do your members coming up after the 9 o'clock news.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.